Okay, this is the Bolton Repair cross-slide switch. It's what is a micro switch to keep the cross-slide from crashing and bending your cross-slide screw. What I've done in this video, this is number 2, is to try to show you how to build this back here, which holds the limit switches so it stops the machine going forwards and backwards. Here I got some pictures on the computer, which hopefully you can get an idea of what I did. See if I can. Okay, this is just the standard part that came with the machine. What I did is I looked at the screws. We were holding it on with a mirror, and I went ahead and took it off the machine, pulled it out of there, built my new part, which is on there now. That's this part over there. It's the bottom side of it. Just took some sheet metal, pulled it around, cut some notches, tested to see if it would fit. As you'll see, well, we'll go on. This is just the notch to hold the conduit there. These are the notches to hold your limit switches, one for forward, one for backwards. I also put some O-rings on the top of it, so that O-rings under here, so that when your coolant won't go down and affect your limit switches. There's a couple limit switches installed. This limit switch here, feeding out towards you, has to be raised up because the part it hits on is too low. It won't hit on it. There you go. I bought this conduit, 6 foot of conduit, 3/8 inch flex conduit from Home Depot. It was $10.25. Bought these switches from Fry's Electronics, $2.50 a piece. Put shrink wrapping on both of them, both ends, to make sure that they wouldn't short out. This is a prior picture for some reason. There we go. Shrink wrap, shrink wrap, shrink wrap, shrink wrap. And this is the wiring. I'm going to show you a wiring diagram in just a second. Yes, there's a little bit of plastic underneath the switches to make sure that they didn't short out. Okay, let's just see here. That's it. Then I had to cut a hole inside the lathe just so I could run the wire. When you cut the first hole with a 3/4 inch hole, this piece of I don't know, insulation board is so thick that you have to cut a piece of it out, otherwise your nut won't fit on the screw coming back up, the bolt. These are the 2 wires. This one comes off of number 20 on the machine. I'll show you that in a minute. It had to be cut. Let me go back and take the machine apart now. We'll see what it looks like from the inside of the machine. See if I can do that one there real quick. See something here. This is the part I bought at Home Depot for the conduit. I took the wires out of it and replaced it with the wires I needed. Here's the switches from Fry's Electronics that I purchased. Here's the wire I got from Home Depot. Used a black and a red wire both to feed through the conduit. I made, of course, a little cardboard prototype, because the cardboard's a lot easier to deal with than that sheet metal for just making drawings. Here we're going to show you the schematic. I've got a different close-up on the schematic. Hopefully you'll be able to see that one okay. Let's see, here's the schematic over here, and it kind of gives you a real good idea of what's going on. Hopefully you'll be able to read it. I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit here. See what we can get on it. Those two limit switches that go back around. Go to part number 20 on the lathe. Okay, so that's all that. I'm going to go ahead and put the camera down for a second so I can take the screws out. So I can get the screws out of the lathe. Then we will show you what's inside here. Now this cover comes off. And then you can look down inside. This is where the fuse is. I took the lead off the fuse, which is a red wire down in here. This red wire, and I read it to my new, this is the new red wire here. This was the one that went to the fuse, and it did go to number 20 over here. What I did is I cut the little end off at number 20, wire netted it to the new wire, which is going to the limit switches, and then from the limit switches I come back with a black wire after the limit switch and plug back into number 20 again, making the complete loop. And also what's very important with this limit switch stuff is that the distance in the back of the table to the front of the table is off by 1/4 of an inch. So what you have to do is set your limit switches so that it's about 100,000th of an inch. The switch engages 100,000th of an inch before it hits this backstop on the far side where it's furthest away. Over here you're going to have a little bit less because you're going to have more room because this is 1/4 of an inch closer this direction. So instead of having 250 thousandths, you're going to have 350 thousandths before when that switch goes off. I'm going to go ahead and shoot the switch one more time here so you can see what it does. I think if we can get this thing going here, let me just power it up. Feeding monotone right now. It's going to crash the machine. What I've done is the limit switch back here is going to engage and the machine will turn off by itself. Should be pretty close right now. There it went. Okay, the machine just shut itself off because this limit switch hit the maximum and I didn't bend my screw as I did before twice already. The cross slide screw is a real pain in the butt to take apart and now it's all solved. When you back up this direction, there's another limit switch here which hits on here, the limit switch up here hits on here, and it stops it from going the other direction. That's it.